All right, welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona. It's Hannity on the road, and we continue for the entire hour with 2016 GOP presidential frontrunner Donald Trump. So, big AIPAC speech. You talked about an agreement imposed by the United Nations. The America must use its veto power as it relates to Israel.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to get an agreement that's being forced down Israel's throat. Now, Israel has been hurt enough by our president. Our president has been, I think, the worst thing that's ever happened to Israel. That Iran deal is such a total disaster. Now the move is that the United Nations is going to make a deal and they're going to force it down, both of them. Number one, deals don't work that way. It can't work that way. It'll never be acceptable, maybe not even to the other side, although it'll probably be an anti-Israel deal, frankly, if it's done by the United Nations. So you can't allow that, and you have to veto that if it ever comes about. And I feel very strongly.
As president, if Israel comes under attack by radical Islamists and you're the president, you will have their back.
100%. And not only that, 100%. Somewhere buried in that horrible Iran deal, one of the worst deals I've ever seen, not even between nations, just one of the dumbest deals I've ever seen any time. But somewhere in that deal, there's a statement, I believe, and nobody can confirm it, but everybody's talking about it, that if Iran gets attacked, we're supposed to come to their defense. Now, can you believe it? Okay, can you believe it? One of the worst deals, one of the dumbest deals I've ever seen.
You know when we made that?
I don't know, but there is something to that effect in there.
When we made that deal, they were burning our flag, burning the Israeli flag. They were chanting death to America, and they said the destruction of Israel is non-negotiable, and Obama still made the deal.
Yeah, and we never walked once. And we should have had the prisoners before we started negotiating. We should have said, we're not negotiating. Leave the room and double up the sanctions, and you would have had the prisoners out years ago. The whole thing is horrible. $150 billion, we get nothing. And I'll tell you what, it's going to lead to nuclear proliferation. You look at what's happening with other countries right now, everybody hates a deal. But for Israel, that's probably the most dangerous deal ever signed. It is the most dangerous.
How do we deal, when you look at the Middle East, all right, you have the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, you have the Sunnis, you have the Shia in Iran, you have the Sunnis in Saudi Arabia, but then you have General al-Sisi, who really went out on a limb and took on radical Islamists. But then the Saudis have always been duplicitous. They want to be our friend, they give the Clintons money and other people money, and then on the other hand, now that when they're fighting Iranian-backed rebels in Yemen, now they want our support.
Sure.
So what do we do to demand that the Saudis once and for all pick a side here?
Okay, are you ready? So Saudi Arabia, before the oil crash, and now they're still making a fortune, but not as much, but they were making $1 billion a day. So we defend Saudi Arabia, and I have many friends from Saudi Arabia, very nice people. They buy my apartments, they rent my space. You know, I'm not going to, I'm in sort of a different position. I'm always like defending. Same thing with China. You know, I'm always knocking China.
Do they buy Trump steaks too?
But they buy everything, okay? But you know, the China, I mean, I have the biggest bank in the world as my tenant. I have the Bank of America building in San Francisco with a great partner, and we got that from China. So many different things. I don't have anything against the Chinese, even the Saudis. But our leaders are so stupid that we do this. Now, here's the thing. So here's the thing. So I really get angry at our leaders. I'm not angry at these other countries. They're just taking advantage of people that don't know what they're doing. Saudi Arabia was making $1 billion a day. We defend Saudi Arabia. They wouldn't even be there. Remember the Iraq War, the first Iraq War, right? Where they were
Kuwait.
With Kuwait, where they came in and they were coming. The Iraqis were coming in, and the Saudis ran. I mean, I just remember it, but we had our Marines in the background. No Marine is running, right? And we took care of it. But I'll never forget that scene. So here's the thing. I'm not knocking Saudi Arabia. I'm only saying this. Iran now has Yemen. They want to take Yemen. They don't want Yemen for Yemen. They want Yemen because of the long border with Saudi Arabia. They want it. The last thing they want is Yemen.
Hegemony in the region.
They want the oil from Saudi Arabia. But here's the thing. So we defend Saudi Arabia. Every time there's a problem, we send our ships. We go crazy, right? We spend a fortune. We get paid peanuts for this. They're making $1 billion a day. I'm not saying don't defend them. I'm saying we have to be reimbursed. We have to be paid when we do this.
Don't you think, though, that they have purposely manipulated the oil markets to drive American fracking companies out of business and prevent Americans from having jobs? In other words, I've asked you about energy independence.
Right.
If we tap into our natural gas, our our coal resources, our energy and oil resources in ANWR, the 48 states, the West Coast, the East Coast, the Gulf. If we tap into it, we don't need any of their oil. Right. Why don't we do that?
And let me just say, you mentioned one word, coal. I see in Kentucky, where they were so nice to me, big victory in Kentucky, big victory. But you look at West Virginia, you look at Virginia, you look at Ohio, where the industry has been wiped out. Clean coal. Now, we're sending our coal. The coal industry has been destroyed. I mean, the miners now, it's just been totally destroyed by Obama and by environmental protection, by what they've done. What they've done to that industry. And you do have new technology with clean coal and everything else. So we send our coal to China. And they use our coal. They don't clean it. They use our coal. It spews into the air. And we're talking about the carbon footprint. Then Obama hops on his, then he hops onto Air Force One, the 747, goes to Hawaii to play golf, comes back again, and he talks about the carbon footprint, right? So here's the story. We've got to energize. We've got to let our coal people be coal people. This was a great industry.
We should make America energy independent.
We have to make it energy independent.
What do you think about... Look, don't you think the Saudis, when they give the Clinton Foundation all this money, don't you think they bought Hillary's silence, even though women in Saudi Arabia can't drive, they can't leave a house without a male relative?
Well, that's a big discussion right now, because now they're finding out that, Bill would be getting a fortune to make a speech, and then all of a sudden lots of positive things happened when she was Secretary of State. And the email scandal is a massive scandal where people were, sent to prison for doing a tiny fraction of what she did. You look at General Petraeus, what happened to him. What he did was nothing compared to what she did, and they destroyed his life. So you just look at it. So it's a very sad situation.
You keep saying if she can run.
I do say that.
And you've also told me in past...
Although I have to tell you, you would think that if they would have done something, they would have done it a long time ago. I mean, they're going to let her go right up to the gate and then indict her?
But if there's a criminal referral and they don't listen to it, you said you would send your Attorney General.
You have to do that. You have to look. You have a 6-year statute of limitations, and certainly you have to look at that. But you know what it is? First of all, it's a very bad thing what she did for the country. But it's very unfair for so many people that have done so much less, and their lives have been destroyed.
Last question this segment. I don't have a lot of time. Who are people that you can tell us now? That we started out with 17 candidates. Who are people that you would bring into your administration or ask to be into your administration?
Well, I know so many politicians. I know so many people in Washington. I know so we have great. Let me tell you, we have great people, Joe. We have great people. I don't want to talk. Good man. She just said. I don't want to talk.
Rudy Giuliani, AG?
Rudy's great. I mean, Rudy comes around. He's great. Bolton is great. I mean, there's so many people that I deal with. Waleed Ferris is great. We have so many people that you see, that you know, that I know.
That I interview.
And many of these people are going to be a part, the good ones.